This week's episode of WandaVision takes us to the 1970s, where a quickly pregnant Wanda's powers go a little haywire and introduces some new characters right from the comics, as well as giving us our first peek behind the curtain. As you might expect, the episode is full of plenty of references to the greater MCU, so let's dive in and see what we got. I'm Greg Elliott with Screen Rant, and here's every MCU Easter egg we found in episode 3 of WandaVision.
Well, in fairness, darling, the baby is approximately 9 months early.
Wanda's speedy pregnancy and the twins' birth are lifted straight from the comics, where she created the children out of her own mind, unwittingly using fragments of the demonic being Mephisto to do so. They were eventually reabsorbed by Mephisto, but were later reincarnated as Billy Maximoff and Thomas Kaplan, who became the superheroes Wiccan and Speed, two prominent members of the Young Avengers. Now, this isn't a reference to the comics or films, but the paint they used to paint the nursery is branded Simser, which is most likely a nod to the show's storyboard artist Jeremy Simser. And according to his personal site, he'll also be working on Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which Wanda is in, so he's clearly sticking with Marvel.
Hydra Soak. Find the goddess within.
This episode's commercial is for Hydra Soak Soap, which Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fans might get a kick out of, as Coulson himself referred to Hydra's mind control soap a few times in the show. The ad might also be referring to the Mind Stone's role in transforming Wanda into the Scarlet Witch, as the Marvel Studios Visual Dictionary says that while she may be called Scarlet Witch, her powers aren't derived from the occult, and the Infinity Stone on Loki's scepter bestowed incredible powers of the mind. So maybe the Mind Stone didn't give Wanda powers, but rather unlocked something inside her, or in other words, found the goddess within.
I had a brother. His name was Pietro.
We also got the show's first reference to Wanda's brother Pietro, the first time that his death has been explicitly mentioned since Avengers Age of Ultron. Not only does this seem to trigger something in Wanda, it also has an effect on Geraldine, who knows that he was killed by Ultron. And it's possible that this isn't exactly common knowledge in the MCU, so Wanda is clearly caught off guard by the comment. It's at this point that Wanda notices Geraldine's necklace, which we know to be the logo of the Sentient Weapon Observation Response Division, or SWORD, and we've already seen it a few times in the show. And since we already know that Teyonah Parris was actually cast not as Geraldine, but as a grown-up Monica Rambeau who was working with SWORD in some capacity, it makes sense that she might have been briefed about Ultron and Pietro at some point.
Wanda, where's Geraldine?
She had a rush home.
The episode ended with Monica getting thrown out of Westview and our first look of the reality bubble that's surrounding the town. And one thing that's interesting is that it doesn't have Wanda's signature red energy look, which could mean something, or, it could mean nothing at all. We do learn that SWORD has established a perimeter around Westview, kind of like S.H.I.E.L.D. did around Mjolnir in the first Thor film. One interesting thing to note is the Monkey song playing at the end, Daydream Believer, which, like the Shakespeare reference and many other things in the show, alludes to Wanda being trapped in a daydream or a world that is not exactly what it seems. And we'll be here every week for more of Wanda's Happily Ever After Dreamland, so make sure to keep up with Screen Rant to stay in the know. I'm Greg Elliott, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.